Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Yes, people, Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. I hope you guys are all doing well. It's been all go here this week, getting ready for Christmas, selling events, doing all of that kind of good stuff that we normally do. This week's episode, we're calling it the Genyasis episode. We're talking very briefly about Enya's Shepherd Moon album, and we'll tell you the reasons for that in the podcast. And then we spend the rest of the episode talking about We Can't Dance by Genyasis. Had a few texts in on the subject of that from listeners. Dave Roddy I was wondering whether No Son of Mine was a continuation of The Living Years by Mike and the Mechanics. It's plausible. Beat Rehab saying the video for I Can't Dance never sat with him because it was an oxymoron, as the making of the video as a large feature of the video, which is crazy. Yeah, that's some kind of weird meta time loop shit. You get into that stuff and the world will explode. Yeah, this podcast is brought to you as always by On The Edge Comedy. This Friday, which is the 20th of December, we're bringing you the wonderful Sarah Barron, fresh from doing live at the Apollo. She's coming down and headlining On The Edge Comedy. It's also my birthday gig. I've got Lenny Sherman, I've got Mark Cram, I've got Joe Foster. We are going to have an absolutely lovely time, folks. There are still tickets available, unbelievably, £6 each. Find them on We Got Tickets. I'm also headlining on Thursday night at Purple Comedy in Hove, doing a closing set there. That's normally quite a nice gig, so I'm looking forward to that. And then I think I'm done for the year. My tickets are on sale now for Woodingdean Comedy Club. If you're in that end of Brighton and you fancy coming along, I've got Angela Barnes off the telly. I've got Rob Mulholland, who's going to be the guest on our hip hop special, one of the best stand-ups in the country. I've got the wonderful William Stone in the middle. William Stone designed the logo for this podcast, funnily enough. He's a designer as well as an outstanding stand-up comic. Tickets for that are selling ridiculously faster, and we got tickets under Woodingdean Comedy Club. Those are £10 for 3 great acts, and you get me MCing as well, so come along to that if you can. That's on the 8th of February in Woodingdean. Anyway, with no further ado, I'm going to crack on with this podcast. Hope you enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care. Yes, people. Dave Fensom here, as always, with my good buddy Krister.
Hey, everybody.
And a dog, Waffles Dog.
All right, Mum.
This is the last week that there's going to be one dog recording the podcast with us. Next week, we're going to have a new co-host, getting a new puppy. You excited about that, Krister?
I'm thrilled. You're fucking mad. I said to Dave said to me like a few days back, oh, by the way, guess what? We're getting another puppy. I'm like, what, on top of the 3 cats and the very excitable dog you already have?
Yeah. Have you lost your fucking mind?
Exactly.
Was your exact words. Yeah. What I want is a house that smells more like shit and piss.
Yeah, well, that's going to happen.
Yes, indeed.
That is exactly what's going to happen.
So, welcome, guys, to episode 19. If you are joining us for the first time this week, I feel like I should recap our mission statement for this podcast. Yes. I have noticed that our numbers are going up, so we should let you know. If you're listening for the first time, this is the Pop Collaborate and Listen podcast, where we listen to every UK #1 album of the 90s in detail and review them, and normally in excruciating detail. Mm-hmm. Our rules are fairly simple. If it's a brand new #1 album by an original artist, it gets reviewed. If it's a greatest hits or if it's a compilation, it doesn't count. We might talk about it in a small amount of detail, but we generally won't. The only time we've made a real exception for that is when we had a 3 Tenors album which came our way, and we decided that because it was kind of slightly outside of our wheelhouse, we didn't really have an opinion on it. And we came to that decision after listening to it.
Very much.
Obviously, the whole point of this is we listen to albums and we talk about them. And if there's nothing to say, it's a shit podcast.
Well, yeah.
So on that token, what's this week's album?
Yeah. Well, what we should be doing is listening to and talking in great detail about Enya's Shepherd Moons album.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest with you guys, we're not going to do a whole episode on Enya Shepherd's Moon. If you don't know who Enya is, she's a Celtic songstress. We've got some facts and figures about her. I say we have, Krister has.
Indeed. And also, because we usually play a little bit of the song that we're talking about during the podcast, we go, this is what we're, here's track one, play a bit, talk about it. What I've done for Enya, because we're not going to do this in detail, is I've made a Jive Bunny style megamix of Enya's pop classic Shepherd's Moon. So I've got 3.5 minutes of just... I'll put this on in the background while we're chatting, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, here we are.
So, Krister, what was your experience of Enya going into this?
I knew Orinoco Flow.
Me too.
And I liked that. I really enjoyed that at the time. And I knew she'd done other albums, but was really oblivious.
I think in my mind I thought she was an ex-member of Clannad. Is that true?
She was. Yeah, her family were the basis of Clannad, and she was in it for like one album.
Right, okay, fair enough.
But then left to do some stuff.
I quite liked Orinoco Flow.
Yeah, it was a good tune.
Yeah.
It's a good tune. I mean, just on terms of the facts and figures, this album sold 250,000 copies in the US in its first week of release.
Yeah.
This was fucking big deal, apparently. People really loved Enya, especially in the States, I guess. All the Irish over there bought this for validation.
Them and House of Pain, really.
It was
it?
exactly that. It had done 5 million copies by 1996 and has sold, they reckon, about 13 million copies around the world to date of this Shepherd Moon album.
Fair enough.
Big deal.
To people who mainly have albums of panpipes in their collections, I would imagine.
Exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. She is Ireland's second biggest selling act after U2.
Okay.
And she is their biggest selling solo act.
Don't say there, like it's not yours.
It's the others, man.
Oh, fucking what, the Southerners?
Exactly.
Are you like distancing yourself?
I distance myself from U2 and Enya, certainly.
On the other side of a customs union?
Yeah, well, what am I claiming? I'm claiming Ash and Therapy at this point.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe the Undertones, but that's kind of it.
There's
very little to be proud of in Northern Irish music.
I once saw Ash play one of the most depressing gigs the world has ever seen.
That sounds like Ash.
I mean, I felt bad for him, actually. I genuinely did, because they were booked to sub for 9 Inch Nails at this day festival.
Oh, shit, yeah. Was Skunk and Nancy playing that as well?
I think so. Anyway.
Yeah.
This isn't about any, but 9 Inch Nails pulled it on the day, and literally they came on to play their what would have been sub-headline set to just everyone leaving.
It's not that crowd.
And I think they finished playing up to about 30 people.
Oh, God,
in
that's
an arena.
Horrible. The thing as well about her fame and her success, she has never done a live tour. She's only done kind of one-off shows, like little residency sort of things, or TV spots to promote her music.
That's why she's never going to see her then.
I know. Yeah, no, it's disappointing. But even though she's never done that, she has sold about 75 million records in total over her career, which makes her one of the best-selling artists in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, she's just in between, if you look on Wikipedia's list, she's right in between Kenny G and Nirvana.
That's insanity.
I know.
So you said you were doing a mega mix of this. This is just one song, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it should be. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, right? For my bit of criticism for this record, look. First of all, I'm not slagging this record off.
Mm-hmm.
This is
even this little Irish pipe bit.
I mean, it's what it is, isn't it, man?
It's exactly what you expect.
Music to hunt leprechauns by. Right. But look, I put this album on when I was having a bath. It was a nice time.
Right, sure.
It helped my mind go and relax and think about other things.
Yeah.
But I would literally get like 5 minutes in and I was like, oh, I forgot this was playing.
Oh, it's madly background, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like my brain, it like kind of almost like switches it out. It like kind of tunes it out, you know?
It's just some wallpaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's great. If this is your thing, that's great. I just have nothing to say about it.
No, I couldn't critique this at all. There were a couple of the songs when I was listening through it, and I didn't pay much attention as well. But there were a couple of songs, there was, a snippet here, and I went, oh, that's kind of nice. That's a nice little thing you've done there. And then it just washed over me again. Yeah.
The single, I kind of vaguely remembered the single.
I do remember
the
single,
listen.
yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. This is okay. It ain't no Orinoco Flow.
No. Caribbean Blue was the single. So for people, if they don't remember, it was released in October 91. There were 4 singles released off this album, and there are not 4 singles on this album.
No,
that's
absolutely
crazy talk, that is.
The thing I've always been upset, though, is that the people that make the Wombles have never done Orinoco Flow, which is Orinoco the Womble doing his hip-hop bit. I think that would be nice. That's a missed opportunity.
Sure.
Orinoco's Flow.
Yeah, that would be... Also, I said to a mate of mine, I said, oh yeah, I'm having to do this fucking Enya album. And he was like, all right, yeah, well, I suppose, it can't all be gold. But he just said, the only thing I know about Enya, and I suspect this is quite a lot of people, the only thing they know about Enya, is that, A, she's never done a tour.
Yeah.
She bought herself a castle that she lives in by herself. Well, not by herself, because she's got about 100 cats.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all.
That is what she does. She's not married, no kids, lives in a castle with fucking dozens and dozens of her cats, and that's her life.
Swims topless in the moat.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, lifts a sword.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would imagine, right, that Enya's life is like the dancing that Florence and the Machine did on that Glastonbury set.
Well, that's just, as she's cooking, she's doing that.
I would imagine this, like, she's employed people to soundtrack her walking around.
No, right, sure.
Like when Peter Griffin has the soundtrack in Family Guy.
His theme tune follows him around.
Yeah, I imagine it's like this, but a bit more Moonwolf.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, look, so you got anything else?
I've got that she's worth over £100 million.
Worth is a subjective term.
That is true. I mean, some of that might be the castle. Who knows?
Some of it might be the cats.
Yes. But apparently in the 2018 Rich list, she was ahead of both Chris Martin and Ed Sheeran. She's still making, a ton of money every fucking year.
That's so crazy that's crazy.
And apparently a species of fish was named after her in 2017 because it was found in the Orinoco River.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so the Oregon State University discovered this new fish. They called it Leporinus enyai, which means beautiful little fish.
Do you not think that she should do a massive concert in Africa?
Why would she do that?
Enya in Kenya.
Oh, nice! Yes, indeed. No, I do.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's tweet her.
Yeah, the Enya in Kenya show. I think that's exactly what we need.
Wicked. But no, that's all I have.
Fair enough, mate.
Yeah, that's all I have on this entire album and Enya's entire career.
And that is significantly more than I had. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to what the next record that we would be doing is.
Indeed. Actually, so yeah, the timeline we're looking at, because last week was Erasure, obviously, and it was number one only for 1 week, sort of end of October. After Erasure, Queen's Greatest Hits 2 went to number one for a week.
That was a monster of a record.
It was a monster, and it keeps coming back. Yeah. So Queen was number one, and then Enya was number one from the 10th of November to the 16th.
Yeah.
1 week only. Then Genyasis came to number one for 1 week with their We Can't Dance album.
And that's the record we're going to do
So that's
today.
what we're looking at today. Absolutely.
So we're going to call this the Genyasis record. Genyasis.
Fucking brilliant. Have you got any affiliation with Genyasis? You got anything in your musical history?
I really, really, really liked Land of Sunshine. What's it called?
Land of Confusion.
Land of Confusion. Thank
That's
you.
a great tune. Yeah,
loved Land of Confusion.
That's a terrific tune.
Loved the Spitting Image video.
That was quality.
Yeah.
Was that off the Invisible Touch album? Land of Confusion. I think it might have been. Because that was 87.
I really like Invisible Touch as well.
Touch is a fucking banger.
Yeah.
One of the best key changes in pop history.
Oh, without a doubt. One of the best Phil Collins songs.
Well, yeah. But that's one of the things as well. Whenever I'm trying to think of, what Genyasis songs do I like, I find it so hard to differentiate between Genyasis and Phil Collins.
It's almost like they've got the same singer.
It is, well, quite, and I don't care either way most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I was exposed to some early Genyasis. I used to be in a band with people with a disgraceful prog bent. Yeah. Shout out to Matt Collis and Craig Price. Yeah. But yeah, so I've listened to Brand X and early Genyasis and all of that kind of.
So would that have been some of their sort of 70s pomp?
Yeah, the super,
when they were full on,
super jazzy kind of. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay,
I don't care for it.
Now, people say, that stuff, the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway and those big, proper proggy albums, they're classics. I'm not a fan of prog in general. I think prog is usually when people have a tune and then take some of the tune away. That's my kind of take on prog.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I'm sure is fantastic, and I like stuff like Tool if you want to call them prog.
Yeah, there's loads of bits of prog that I like.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't all have to be the super overblown kind of loads and loads of keyboards. It doesn't have to be Rick Wakeman.
Right, well, indeed. That's probably, in my head, that's kind of the default prog.
Well, the thing is, we grew up in the 90s, didn't we?
Yeah.
At that time when, like, kind of all music journalists were totally deriding that prog had anything to offer whatsoever.
Right.
Like, as if fucking Radiohead isn't prog.
Well, absolutely. You listen to Paranoid Android.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, so I agree there. I think I just have my immediate disposition is, not my thing.
Yeah.
And so whenever someone tries to play me something that is a bit more of the wacky side of prog, I'm like, well, this is obviously nonsense.
Yeah.
Whereas if they didn't tell me what they were playing, I'll just put it on, it might be a different thing. When someone goes, check out this King Crimson tune, I'm like, nah.
I love King Crimson.
Again, they've probably got some stuff I would love, but...
Oh, no, there's...
The bits I've heard.
Undoubtedly loads of stuff you'd love, King
Maybe
Crimson.
So.
But, I mean, a lot of the bands that, I really liked, I don't know, I guess 95 onwards have been very proggly.
Well, a lot of that metal stuff.
Yeah, in the metal side. In the metal side of stuff, I think, like Opeth and Mastodon and a lot of the kind of stuff with odd times in it. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Stephen Wilson. Mm-hmm. Like if you listen to
is that Porcupine Tree?
Yeah, he was in Porcupine Tree, but his solo stuff is. If you listen to the Raven Who Refused to Sing, it's such a beautiful, brilliant record. So I love all of that stuff. Okay. I have a problem with some of the big ridiculous instrumentation, some of the synth sounds, and we'll talk about that. Very much we'll talk about that here. So but
with this album then, do you remember it coming out?
I do remember this coming out, and I don't want to talk too specifically about the reasons why, because we'll get to it.
Okay, fine.
But this was very much an album that I didn't think was for me at all at the time.
Sure.
This seemed like...
It's something you buy your dad for Christmas.
Yeah, I wouldn't have bought my dad it, because he wouldn't have given a shit. But it seemed a bit embarrassing to me at the time.
Okay.
And, I come from a point of view of, a year before I'd have had that Phil Collins record, on a tape.
Yeah.
This is coming out, I'm, kind of really defining what I'm into a little bit now.
Oh, I see. You're clearing out some of the stuff that isn't cool.
This didn't seem like a good thing for me at the time.
Fair enough.
So this is kind of classic pop collaborate and listen territory. This is going back and going, did my young musical snobbery make me ignore a died-in classic?
Exactly. That is what the point of this thing is. So yeah, we shall see.
How about yourself, man?
No, I don't remember the album whatsoever. I remember the couple of the singles, and I suspect I probably had it tagged as, this is another Phil Collins album rather than Genyasis, because I didn't know the difference really at that point. I wasn't interested enough to go, that's Phil Collins, this is Genyasis.
Yeah.
So I don't remember the album whatsoever, and I don't know anyone else who had it, so I wasn't exposed to it at all.
Well, let's start with the album cover.
Yeah. Right, we don't have a copy here because I've not managed to find one in a charity shop. I
mean, I'm immediately underwhelmed, aren't you?
Yeah, and we've said this a few times for them, but it looks like artwork you'd find in either a fast food chain or a hotel.
Yeah, it's corporate art. It's
sort of watercolory,
pastel-y, I would say.
Yeah, pastels.
It's pastels. It's a tall figure and a slightly smaller figure. Mm-hmm. Father son.
You'd assume so. I'd assume
an inappropriate situation.
Could be a priest.
Who knows what's happening? It's. I don't like it at all.
No, and I don't think it's particularly iconic or anything either. I don't think you go, all right, well, fair enough. It does not interesting, but that is the We Can't Dance album.
Yeah.
If you took the name off that, I would not have a clue what that was.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember because there was a lot of TV advertising for this, and I remember there being TV adverts for this, and that was all because there was the very kind of iconic thing that they did in the I Can't Dance video, which the three of them kind of walking in step with each other.
Yes.
And that was on all the TV advertising. And I kind of, when I saw this album cover and I looked at it, I was like, I really thought that those three guys that's what the album cover was.
I see, right.
Which would be a more indelible image, if nothing else.
Maybe much more memorable.
Maybe not for the right reasons, but this is a shit album cover.
Yeah, okay. There's nothing else to say about that, to be honest. It is the band's 14th album.
Fucking hell, is it really 14th?
Yeah. And it was their 5th consecutive number 1 album in the UK. Mm-hmm. It reached number 4 in the US, where it sold over 4 million copies. So it's still doing, big business. They're still a big band. The previous album had been the Invisible Touch one, and that was 87, and they toured that for a couple of years, and then took 3 or so years off recording. They were supposed to start recording this one in 1990, but Phil Collins was tied up with But Seriously.
Busy, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That just took off like you would never expect, and so he couldn't do anything till 91. This is also the last album that Genyasis recorded before Phil Collins left to pursue his solo career full-time in 1996, because they did a load of years touring this album after it was released. Apparently the album title is derived partly from the popularity of dance music at the time, and I'm guessing how out of step Genyasis felt to the popular stuff that was going on in the charts. But it went double platinum by the 1st of December, considering this was released at number 1 on the 17th of November. 2 weeks, and it went double platinum in the UK. It eventually went 5 times platinum in the UK. So this is a big fucking deal.
It is a big record. Yeah. A big fucking record.
Yeah. And this is the kind of what a lot of people would probably consider the most recognisable lineup for Genyasis. You know, obviously people think classic Genyasis is Peter Gabriel, perhaps.
Yeah.
But he left in, 77 or something like that? So all through the 80s and this one in the 90s was the Phil Collins, Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford lineup.
Yeah.
Which you can call it the classic lineup if you want, because I suspect that's when most of the albums were released.
Yeah, I think depending on what type of Genyasis nerd you are, you'll probably have very strong opinions.
Oh, God, yeah. No, fucking, mate, we might get some very strongly worded tweets about that.
I would imagine
if
so,
me saying
yeah.
this is classic Genyasis.
Okay, so Phil Collins, vocals, drums.
Vocals and drums, Tony Banks on keyboards, and then Mike Rutherford on lead and bass guitars.
Okay. I think we'll come back to those guys, because I think there's some blame to be apportioned for some of this record.
Absolutely is.
Okay, so look, let's start off with the first track. This is called No Son of Mine.
Indeed, right. And this one was the first single released in October 1991. Got to number 6.
Metronome.
Yep.
Now that's a very strange noise.
It is bizarre. Yeah, like you're going. It's like someone's recorded a dying cow.
That's what I've written here. It sounds like a distressed cow.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it isn't. It is. It was made by recording Mike Rutherford's guitar with a sampler,
right,
and then playing it through 3 notes on the bottom register of the keyboard. So lowering the pitch and playing it sort of over itself.
Okay, and here, very, very high in the mix, you've got this kind of very dull, innocuous synth wave coming through it.
Sure, yeah. Well, it's just sort of over the top, a glaze over the top of everything else. Yeah. But it's just sort of that standard 80s bland keyboard.
Yeah. But here we've got some trademark ridiculously fucking tuned drums.
That's Phil Collins right there, isn't it? Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Oh, I'm totally fine with this.
Oh, I think this is dull as shit. I think all of this is dull.
I think that drum beat is a nice crisp bam.
Yeah.
Bam.
Oh, I like the drums, yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of the song up until this point, it's very, very bland, very 80s kind of key sound.
It is. It's so 80s. It's like they released this in 85.
Yeah. And it does this, right? And I'm not fussed. We get to about 2 minutes 30. And that's when we get our first chorus.
Okay, so we've got this build.
Yeah.
And we should just say the lyrics. You know, it's about a child in an abusive family.
Yeah.
And he's breaking free. He wants to leave because he can't take it anymore. Yeah. So he gets out. And then it's talking about when he goes back to try and reconnect with the father who he was scared of. And he goes back and the father's like, "You're no son of mine." Yeah. But there's your chorus.
Yeah, that's a good chorus.
I like this chorus.
That's a solid chorus. I just think the rest of the song could do with a bit of a trim.
Oh, easily with a trim. This is 6 minutes 40.
Yeah.
And I think the single version was 6 minutes 40 as well. I don't think it was like a radio edit.
Well, listen to those keys, though.
What's happening?
I mean, that's Hollywood keys.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
Very 80s. That guitar is overdriven to fuck.
But I would agree that the song itself, I think the verses are cliched, and they just do what they do without interesting me at all. But I think that's a really good chorus.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I am at
Yeah,
with it.
I think that the song itself sounds like or probably more the verses, but it sounds like it could be on. But seriously, it sounds like a Phil Collins solo song to me. That doesn't sound interesting. I was expecting this to be more weird than this.
Yeah.
You know, and this isn't. This is just a standard Phil Collins big production bland song.
Yeah, I think it's... there's a lot of the stuff in the production that I don't particularly like.
Yeah.
I particularly don't like that keyboard as high in the mix as it is.
No.
Yeah, I just...
And it could be 2 minutes shorter. Straight away.
Without doubt. I mean, it could be 3 minutes shorter.
Yeah. Especially because the last verse and chorus are just total repeats of the previous ones. It's adding nothing else, and it's not going anywhere with this because it's a big story about him leaving and coming back and getting rejected again. And the last 2 minutes does not take it anywhere else.
No.
So it could be gone.
And it's like I say, it's 2.5 minutes until you get to that chorus, and I'm like, I've given up by that point.
Yeah, that like weird for a radio single.
Yeah,
yeah, you
should trade on your name. You could get away with a lot.
Probably true.
All right, and so mixed bag for me.
I did enjoy though. I looked at the video for this. Obviously, it being the first single they made a video. It's what you'd expect. It shows the home life and some silhouettes of the father with a belt and this sort of stuff, and the son cowering in a corner, and then he leaves. All of that shit. That's fine. But I looked at some of the YouTube comments because there were people going, I related to this because I grew up in a family just like this. And there's a lot of people going, I was so glad when someone else was talking about the stuff I had to go through. Lots of this on the comments, yeah? But one of the top comments is, when I was a little kid, one night my father came home totally drunk and he put this song on. Amazing memory. Just trolling them to fuck.
Oh, you shouldn't laugh.
Indeed. Okay.
Right, so on the subject of videos, I did make the mistake earlier because our Simply Red episode came out this week, and I just couldn't stop myself, and I watched the Something Got Me Started video.
It's amazing.
That's ruined the song for me again.
What was our favourite on that?
That's
incredible.
And I went, oh yeah, this is why I hated you so much.
Right.
It's this. Because I was seeing the video all the time. I was like, oh yeah,
I don't think I'd ever seen that video.
I had. I was like, oh yeah, remember you fucking glinty-eyed Ibiza cunt. Anyway.
Oh God.
All right, track number 2. Jesus, He Knows Me.
So this was the 4th single, July 1992, and it got to number 20.
I remember this one actually when it comes out.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, this is catchy.
I think this one's quite a lot of fun.
Yeah. This is straight in with a much more upbeat tempo, a catchy little bass line.
Yeah. I've written here, Phil's voice is really smoking on this one.
Oh, smoking! Yeah, you go, Phil.
I like it though. He's got a bit of funk in the trunk on this.
Okay, sure.
Grunt.
Well, yeah, he's trying to make a point on this one.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a scathing indictment of televangelists.
Precisely, yeah. Apparently at the time it was whenever like Swaggart and Jim and Tammy Baker were getting investigated for fraud.
The Scottish detective.
You heard. So they were getting in. Oh, look, this chorus is good.
Oh, it's a great chorus.
It's a terrific chorus. Yeah.
Oh no, I mean, all I'll say about this song, right, is I'm really, really, really enjoying this song. Then there's a fun breakdown, and I'm really enjoying it. And then there is an entirely regrettable reggae bridge, isn't there? I put here though, it's a bit of a shame, but it doesn't derail it.
Okay. It maybe not doesn't derail it, but you do go, oh, what?
What have you done? Oh, hello.
Then I read a bit about this, and I think it was Mike Rutherford said, oh, yeah, well, because they made all of these songs from jamming stuff together. They would just completely go out with nothing in mind, see what happened. And he says that this song came from the reggae bit.
Yeah.
They started with that and worked backwards to this bit. And I mean, they didn't quite excise all of the reggae.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could have just been like, one more snip, guys, and you're there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, let's fit.
Yeah, no, it's going to come in now. Oh, there we are.
Oh dear. At least he's not doing the voice.
Oh, God.
Give us some reggae. Yeah. All right.
This is catchy as hell,
Yeah.
man.
I like this one. This is a big thumbs up from
It's
me.
a winner. It is.
Absolute. Yeah. More of this, please.
Yeah, and I like the bit where because the minor key of the verse into the major chorus, it's sort of low key, and then it blows up in the chorus. It's
I like. Yeah, it's a nice restrained bit of keyboard from your man Tony.
from Tony. Yeah, it is a cheesy sound of the keyboard still, but I guess because there's so much else going on with this, it's not as noticeable. It's not out of place. Maybe I'm not sure.
Well, I think that's maybe this isn't the right song to have the conversation about it on, but I think fuck it, we're having it. Last week we were listening to Eurasia, and we were talking about the detail in things that Vince Clarke's doing.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing as when you listen to Martin Gore and Depeche Mode.
Sure.
Obviously, these are synth guys, and everything's about the detail of the sound to those guys. Now, you get the impression, you do a bit of research on Tony. He's a multi-keyboard player. He's very specific in the keyboards he plays. Obviously very interested in it, but Christ, the guy has got... It's like almost like he's just looking for the worst sounds he can find.
So he comes up with some shit.
Oh, this is so
songs.
fucking bad.
I don't even know if they would have been good in 1983, because I suspect he's stuck in a time period where he's like, no, this is what the people want, when it really isn't.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine some of the particular sounds and tones he wants to put into songs were ever the right thing to do.
No, it just kind of makes... A lot of them just make you feel like bad horror films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But we'll point these out as we go through, because there's quite a lot of them.
Fair enough.
The only other thing I liked about this was I read up that, the Simpsons episode, Bart Sells His Soul, where Reverend Lovejoy goes, we have a guest hymn today, or whatever it is. This is In the Garden of Eden by Iron Butterfly.
Yeah.
And they sing this In-A-Gadda Vida. Apparently they wanted this one. They wanted to have this, but couldn't get the rights. Nice little bit of trivia.
Nice. That is good. Right, okay. So should we do track 3?
Yes.
This one is called Driving the Last Spike.
And this song is 10 minutes long.
Yes, it is.
This is kind of more what I suspected this album would be.
This
10-minute long song.
So this one's a very slow-paced one.
Yeah.
It starts with these kind of big kind of synth waves coming across.
Yep.
Again, not interesting in any way. This song is boring as fuck until you get to about 3 minutes in.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And then it does what I would describe as going a bit Magnum theme tune.
I'll tell you what, let me skip, because I've got the same thing. The first couple of minutes just sound like one of the Issue songs off, but seriously. So let me skip into
the first third, Krister. Let's call it as it is.
Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a crescendo going on.
Yeah. It's literally dead on 3 that it kicks.
Right. See, I don't mind this bit, because this is a bit of a swell to it.
Yeah, the whole song is a story. It's about kind of guy that was working on building the railroads in America and
in the UK, in Britain.
Oh, was it in Britain?
In Britain, yeah. It's the navvies.
I thought it was America because of the sun and all this kind of shit.
No, that indeed, but no, it's the British navvies. Apparently, it was inspired by a book he was given about that topic by actor Dennis Waterman. There you are.
Oh, fucking brilliant.
Yep. And yeah, placing the last spike, because this is called Driving the Last Spike, and placing the last spike was a momentous occasion because it was finished.
Yeah.
That was the end of the massive task. So that's what it's all about. But it's also, in the story, it's about people breaking their backs and having to leave their families to do this work, and an accident happens, and tunnels cave in, and people die. And sort of
I mean, it's basically our Wiedersehen Pet for a different audience.
Oh, well, there.
Yeah.
But this bit, I don't mind this.
It's all right.
I think it's okay.
It's okay. There's a really nice beat that comes in at 5 minutes 53.
Oh, let's find that.
I like this bit.
Okay, yeah.
I think the thing with this song is it's 10 minutes long. It's kind of a storytelling exercise, right?
Yeah.
I like what they do. It's just all a bit disjointed.
Okay.
For me, this is. I like the fact that it's telling the story, but it is a case of TLDR, you know.
Right, I see. I definitely agree there. But I mean, they have obviously seen this as an epic tale that they need to, build up to and take on a journey. It sounds to me, this sounds like it's in a stage musical, and spotlight on Phil, and he's saying these things, and in the massive instrumental bits between the verses, that's when people are rushing around the stage and the tunnel's falling in and everyone's in anguish. It sounds very dramatic to me, like this.
Bit War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I can absolutely see, rushing from side of the stage to side of the stage with fake rocks falling on you while the tune is doing its thing in the background, and then he comes back on to say, and then we don't know how many people died, and it was a massive tragedy, and bringing you next bit of the story. That's what it sounds like to me, is just this big stage production. Yeah, but the lines, what is it? We followed the rail, we slept under the stars, digging in darkness and living with danger, showing no fear of what lies up ahead. They'll never see the likes of us again. And he just goes off on it. It's so over dramatic at sometimes.
I mean, it really is. Yeah. I mean, it's You mentioned The Simpsons earlier. Railroad.
Yeah,
monorail.
Yeah, I must admit, from having this on in the background a few times and then listening to it through a few times, from probably it is a third of the way in.
Yeah,
I was into this.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I was.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it started very slowly, and I didn't care. But I can almost see why they did it, because it's a big, long introduction to.
See, maybe I'm a couple of listens shy of that.
Maybe.
Again, it's hooks into me. There are bits in it that I like. I like that beat. I like that kind of little crescendo bit. I like it when that kind of drops in.
Sure.
There's a lot of wasted space in it, though.
And
that's not a fair criticism of a prog song, perhaps.
True.
But it didn't kind of feel like a whole to me.
Okay.
Right, okay, so track number 4 is not the title track, but the kind of title track.
Well, yeah, the one that got the most attention anyway.
This is called I Can't Dance, as opposed to We Can't Dance.
Indeed. And this one was the second single, released in January of 1992, got to number 7. And I remember this.
Oh, God,
of course, this was everywhere. I remember the video for this being around. Yeah. This was on the radio a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I find this fucking incessantly irritating.
Oh, I don't mind this at all.
Oh, I can't stand it.
Really? Oh, I see.
I remember this at the time, and it just fucked me off at the time. And I heard it back and again, and I went, was I being? Oh no, I still hate this.
Oh no, at the time, I definitely remember going, this is cack. But no, just hearing it over the years, I'm fine with this now.
See, my worry with this song is that if I listen to it enough, I could like it.
Oh, really?
Because it is hooky.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
But I don't like this at all. I mean, the kind of sentiment where they're kind of taking the piss out of male models, that kind of idea.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. I think that's fair game, and that's kind of funny enough.
This was all whenever Levi's were releasing all of those ads with kind of classic soul songs or stuff like The Clash, it's like T-Rex, with a male model in jeans, doing very little except looking very pretty. And Genesis wrote this song as okay, well, you're using these classic songs on someone with no talent to sell your product. You're making it to commercialise, whatever it is.
And Nick Cayman's single was an absolute banger.
And I've got a note saying, obviously not Nick Cayman. Couldn't possibly be talking about him.
No, never.
No. So yeah, it's a mistake of that. And the video was as well. It was sort of pastiches of various Levi's ads where either he's standing on the side of the road in some jeans hitchhiking, or he's in the pool hall and he has to bet his jeans to someone. All this sort of stuff. It's good.
I know, the pool hall. That was the Clash one, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah. So it's all very tongue in cheek. Yeah,
I mean, it may well be, but it's. No.
I don't know. I do like it.
It's, to me, this is a dad joke. Fucking that someone's given a budget.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. It is a dad joke, and if you look at the video, it's obviously they are having a lot of fun with it. It's very silly. This is obviously like where you say about them walking in step with each other. It's that very iconic image of them doing that.
Goodies or the monkeys or some shit like that. I mean, I just can't get past the fact that I find that it grates on me, man.
Well, would it help if you heard a cover version by Sonata Arctica?
Oh no, don't put Sonata Arctica on.
A Finnish power metal band.
I know who they are. Louise is a big fan.
Oh well, they did a cover of this. And it's fucking awful.
I don't know, is it? That sounds
There's
like
a lot more brass than I was expecting.
hang on. That sounds like it might be awesome, Krister.
Hot sun beating down, hurting my feet just walking around. Yeah.
I think this is possibly the only Sonata Arctica track I've ever heard in my life.
Oh no, I've heard quite a lot of them.
Right.
This might be the best.
I can't dance, I can't talk. Only thing about me is the way I walk.
Well, it's going to be in the playlist.
I mean, I kind of prefer that, I think.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Right, okay, so that's the end of...
Yeah, but
Oh, sorry,
another bit-
anything like that?
no, the only other thing that in the video, because I remembered the stuff about the piss takes of the ads that they did, I had forgotten that right at the end, the song fades out, and you're left with just Phil Collins centre screen, and someone throws a black hat in. He puts it on and strikes the Michael Jackson pose, right?
Right.
And then does a load of Michael Jackson piss take, where he's doing a load of arm and leg movements, grabs his crotch to zip himself up. This sort of really just particularly silly clowning around.
Yeah.
And then does some tap dancing and
Right.
gets dragged off by the other two of the band. And I'd totally forgotten that. I don't understand why they put that in.
Probably because he'd done it and they went, oh, you should put that in the video.
Yeah, no, it was very strange.
Right, fuck this. Let's take a break.
Yeah, okay.
Let's listen to some albums.
Okay, so the week that we're looking at is November the 17th to the 23rd. And like I say, it was 1 week only. But we're going to look at a sort of a 3-week period in terms of other stuff that came out, because we're kind of incorporating the Enya release and stuff into it as
course.
well. So, but for the 17th, number 10 is Neil Sedaka, Timeless, a best of.
Right.
Couldn't care less. Number 9, The Commitments. Number 8, Tina Turner, Simply the Best. Number 7 is Paul Young, and that's been in there a fucking while, that singles collection.
Paul Young was a big
I
artist,
don't
man.
remember this best of being top 10 for months and
That's
months.
because you weren't paying any attention.
That's right, not to Paul Young, I wasn't. Number 6, Simply Red Stars.
Hang on a minute.
Oh, aye.
Paul Young is Luton.
Luton's biggest export apart from hats.
Yeah.
And, racism.
Resemble that comment. That's fucking no, I'm not saying that. Oh, cut that out. I resent that comment.
Yeah, sure.
Jesus Christ, why did I just say that?
Number 5, Pet Shop Boys, Discography was their best of. That was new in there. Number 4, Lisa Stansfield, Real Love. Number 3, number 3, Queen, Greatest Hits 2, and number 2 is Enya, Shepherd Moon. So it had been number 1, down to number 2. So yeah, very little to talk about in that. Nothing interesting really. In terms of what else was out, Teenage Fan Club released Bandwagon-esque, and we saw the concept came out last week. And so the album full came out, and that was a big deal in kind of the indie world. I think that a lot of people had been looking forward to this for a while. I remember a mate of mine, Robert, had it. He was hugely into it and put it on tape for me. I liked it, but I wasn't blown away in the way that some people were.
As I said to you last week, mate, it'll be an enormous surprise to you that I wasn't a fan of Teenage Fan Club at the time. Should I go back and listen to them?
Oh, you would absolutely like some of their stuff. You absolutely would.
I'm sure I would.
I mean, especially this era stuff. I thought that the 90s bits weren't, or the mid-90s bits rather, weren't as interesting. But
Which is the one with like the kind of the orange cover?
well, if it's the one with, it's more like a pink cover with a bag with the dollar sign on it.
Oh, I can't remember.
That's this one. The mid-90s stuff was like Grand Prix and those
Right.
more I thought more generic indie stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, no, there's some stuff in there. Also, so that got to number 22 in this time period. Number 24, My Bloody Valentine, Loveless.
Nice.
And that was a big deal as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that people talk about as a game changer.
Yeah.
But
Ear bleeding game changer.
Indeed.
And a lot of people that have never heard things the same way from My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, exactly. Indeed. And they always tout it as the band that nearly bankrupted creation as well because of this album.
Yeah.
Because it went on and on and on. And so that was out. In the same time period, Tupac had Tupacalypse Now.
Yes, indeed.
I see. I don't remember. But again, I'm not a Tupac fan in general. But I didn't know that he was this early.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, this album got life because he was successful later down the line.
Okay.
You know,
So it
Tupac,
was ignored at the time, pretty much.
yeah, Tupac came out through what was the crew? he
Digital
came out
Underground.
with? Digital Underground.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. So that's where he was. He was coming from, but it wasn't. It was about 2 more years until.
Yeah, but it
he's
was
really
93,
hitting.
94. He was
Yeah.
blowing up. But yeah, I just don't remember. I don't remember, obviously, at the time because I wasn't listening for it. But I was surprised to see a 1991 two-pack album.
Fair enough.
Also in hip hop world, Tone Loc's Cool Hand Loc was released.
Do you know, I had this album.
Oh yeah.
And I loved this album at the
Okay.
time. So it has some really... I mean, I haven't heard it for years.
Because this obviously isn't his big one.
No,
is
that was Late After Dark.
Yeah, that was where he really went.
Well,
huge
we mentioned this last week. At the time, he was the biggest selling hip hop artist in the world
for a while. Yeah,
because he had until MC Hammer came out and deposed him.
Right, sure.
Because obviously, Funky Cold Medina and Wild Thing were just insanely big tracks.
Sure.
This one, it didn't have big singles on it, but I remember loving it when it came out. Really, really liked it. It was kind of more of that kind of East LA kind of slightly kind of Latino gang sound. It's kind of the kind of like Kid Frost was coming out with La Raza. Yeah, exactly. All of that kind of stuff was coming out, and kind of Cholo kind of stuff that was going to come out.
I mean, he's got a brilliant voice. Tone Loc has such a distinctive voice for a start, but it is fantastic for what he does.
Maybe it's terrible. I haven't heard it for years.
Right. I must admit, I don't know it whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, well, that's all I've got for that period.
Fair enough. So, I mean, we're in that Christmas time now, though.
We are. I mean, I suppose your biggest one there really is My Bloody Valentine. The most important one, musically, anyway.
Exactly, and you can follow that through, for Christ's sake, you can follow that through for a lot of different records that are still coming out these days.
Oh, definitely. And I suspect, whenever we get into 1992 and we're looking at the releases then, there's probably going to be a lot of bands releasing stuff who were influenced and, staggered by Loveless. And
without a doubt.
All right, cool. So back into Genyasis.
Yes.
Track number 5.
Never a Time. Man, like if there was ever a song that sounded like it was specifically written to be on a montage in an 80s rom-com.
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, I've even got the montage. I've got like a couple breaking up. Like there's this song's playing, and you're seeing sign that you're going through the window, and you're seeing them going about their business on their own in their apartment.
Okay, yeah.
Someone's shopping. They go to pick up something that the other person would have liked. And they look at it and are
right.
This is the breakup before they get back together.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. This is end of Act 1.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, you're absolutely right. This is very, very, very bland.
Oh yeah. I mean, literally, my notes on this are it's okay.
I said it's a standard dull song about a relationship on the rocks.
Yeah.
At least it's only 3 minutes 50.
I mean, I tell you what, it isn't. Yeah. It's not fucking Against All Odds.
No, that is definitely a montage relationship song. God. But that's a fucking great tune. Yeah, exactly. No, that's a goodie. Now this wishes it was Against All Odds.
And Against All Odds is just thinking about Against All Odds just makes me want to stop recording and go and listen.
Yeah, yes.
Should we take 5 minutes out and just listen to it?
Yeah, this is nothing compared to any of that. This is just start to finish, washes over you. And I think this is a very strange one to be on a Genyasis album. Okay, fair enough. I wasn't expecting Genyasis to be doing stuff like I Can't Dance or Jesus, He Knows Me, because they are more pop chart songs. I was expecting Genyasis to do the weird stuff. Mm-hmm. But I was not expecting them to do this really middle-of-the-road, terrible love song.
No, this is a bad song.
Yeah.
It's 5 years too late as well.
Yeah.
It's dated.
True. Had this been on Invisible Touch in 87, fine, but
and let's recap that over the last month, pretty much Nirvana's Nevermind has come out, Red Hot Chili Peppers' Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger, all of these things that are going to shape what everyone's listening to. This stands in poor relief against those.
Very much. Yeah, totally. All right, shall we just skip straight on to number 6?
I've got nothing else to say on that, man.
Lovely stuff. Number 6 is Dreaming While You Sleep. There's another 7-minute song for a start, so I was already a bit nervous at that.
Yeah. But as this comes in, we've got a bit of Harold Faltermeyer, Tangerine Dream.
I thought Faltermeyer. Yeah. This is...
But also, like in All the Right Moves or in, not All the Right Moves. What's the Risky Business?
Oh, okay, sure.
The kind of the Tangerine Dream stuff out of that. It's got.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I could see this song in a John Hughes movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But in a right, because obviously this is not a fun song, but you think in a scene at night where they had to sneak around or something like this.
Yeah.
Right.
See,
Or
look,
driving through the streets.
I really like the vocal.
Do
I
you?
really like Phil's vocal in this.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I think this is ridiculous, this song.
Oh, this is one of my favourite songs in the album.
Oh, wow.
Right, with reservations.
Okay, sure.
Okay, right. I like all of this bit a lot, right?
Right.
I like it, but it's,
Even that do-do-do, that
yeah,
keyboard.
I like that, yeah.
Okay.
It's much too long and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it. There's some ridiculous bits of drums towards the end of this song, and I fucking love them.
Oh, no, it does. It kicks it. I must admit, a lot of this, the bit that I think is bad, is that it goes on like this for too long, and it doesn't really kick in until about nearly 3 minutes along the way.
And this is it. It is too long, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff in it that I really like.
Yeah.
Although he does literally steal the delivery. There's the thing where he's like says like there's it will live inside of me, right? And the way he phrases it is exactly the same as that bit from Live to Tell.
That's yes, I did. I thought I'd heard that before. Yeah.
A bit like almost we should find that line because inside of me. Yeah.
Let me get to.
Yeah, I mean, we should mention this is a song about.
Oh yeah.
He's hit a woman in a car.
Yeah, the concept is very strange.
Yeah, and then he's driven on, just fucked off, but then he finds her in hospital in a coma, and he goes to visit her.
Yeah, and because he's so guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Again, why do you think of that? And B, why do you go, let's do a song with this? This is going to be a great idea. That's not a great idea, if you ask me.
I mean, it's probably not the first one he's put in a coma. Probably the first one he was married to.
Yeah, true. Right, I think it's just about to kind of kick in a wee bit up. Here you go. Yeah, all right. So when it does this, I'm a bit more interested. But I think the previous bit is not good.
So I really like the previous
and
bit.
I think the keyboard sound on the previous bit is fucking dreadful.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's got a good vibe to it. Fucking that ridiculous.
There you go. Okay.
I mean, that must be subliminal. He must have heard that in his head and gone, oh.
Yeah, true enough. Overall, I don't mind this, but I think it's a very, very silly idea for a song. I don't get the whole premise behind it, and I don't like the keyboards on these.
I think I don't have a problem with the silly premise. I think I'm all about a silly premise in a prop song. I'm all right with that.
I was
Right?
like, hey mate, you look Primus.
Yeah, exactly.
All of their songs are ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think it's, you find a subject, you write about it. It's what you do with the song, and I like basically most of the components of this song.
Yeah.
The only problem with it is it really could have done with some editing. It doesn't.
Right. Sure.
It doesn't sustain 7 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
And it should go some more places. They make the same thing go on for too long.
Bam, over and over and over.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a fair comment because they do. You're absolutely right. All right. I don't know. I think it also just takes itself so seriously.
I see. Again,
full-faced.
Again, I kind of don't have a problem with it in that
Really?
regard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's just got a nice little dark edge to it.
Okay.
I do like it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, that's.
I don't love it. Don't get me wrong.
But
I think it's one of the better tracks on the album.
All right, sure. Well. Look at that. Anything else on that one?
No, that's it. Apart from the big drum things at the end, that's all I've got.
Right.
That I liked, but
Right. So track number 7, then. Tell me why. What's going on?
well, basically what's going on here is Phil is putting the world to rights again.
Well, somebody has to.
I mean, having inexplicably failed to solve homelessness last year, he's fucking cunting on about it again.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah.
There is just not much tune to this song at
There's
all.
no song. Absolutely, you're right. There's no tune.
And in
So
terms
this
of
is awful
in terms of
instruments.
poor synth choices, this is one of the chief offenders.
Shocking. The keyboard stabs in this horrible.
Listen.
And that Rickenbacker guitar line is just wishy-washy bullshit.
I mean, the point at 2 minutes 34 when they basically start doing Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News in the stabs.
Let's get that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I again, right, it's worthy as fuck. This is about the Gulf War and the plight of the Kurdish people and how people are, left without homes. They're having to fend for food wherever they can find it. All that shit. Very worthy stuff.
Yeah.
I think this tune is dreadful.
Yeah.
And makes me not care even more about the plight of the Kurdish people, which is... Fuck you, Phil Collins.
No, I'm not saying that I don't care about the plight of the Kurdish people. I'm going to be only clear on that. Big up Kai Kurd, fucking great comedian. Check out his special. Go and see him on tour. I do care about the plight of the fucking Kurdish people.
But do you care about it? Did you care about them more before you heard this song?
I cared about it less from listening to this song.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I mean this song's terrible.
It's shocking.
I mean, I read the lyrics and I didn't even pick up that that's what it was about.
Right.
So yeah,
it's bullshit. This was a single as well. This is the last single they released, but it was February 1993. So it was right at the end of the album cycle, and it only got to number 40 because no one gave a fuck.
Dog shit.
Absolute dog shit.
Right, track number 8.
Living Together.
Forever.
Oh, Living Forever, yes.
So this one's about fads.
Yes.
For like fad diets, and this is what you're supposed to do.
Healthy lifestyles.
Oh, this is what they're telling us to do this week.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this
that
one...
fucking keyboard.
Yeah, this does nothing for me at all, this song.
I really dislike this bit because of the keyboard mostly.
Yes, the keyboard is insane.
Shocking.
Well, I tell you what I dislike about this most,
Yes.
right? Okay, what happens is, I was really hating this song, right?
Yeah.
And it gets to 3 minutes and 3 seconds, right? And it goes into this kind of slightly dark groove, and it's got this kind of scratchy funk guitar, kind of almost inaccessy guitar.
Okay.
And I was thinking, this is okay. And then this synth comes in.
Yep.
And it's so hot. It's one of the worst things I've ever heard. And it won't stop.
Yep. Because I've got notes about that too. So let's find sort of the middle of this song. Yeah, we're going in off this. Like you say, a bit of a breakdown. That's all right.
What's it,
The NXS thing? Yeah, for sure. For sure. What's this nonsense? This is cack. Don't do this layer. But it was a bit of a somber breakdown, I suppose you'd call it.
This isn't even the worst bit.
Oh no, the worst is coming. Here we go.
Why?
What's happening?
Why? Why?
How do you find this setting on your keyboard? This is like the one that Casio tried to destroy. This
is like if you work in a music shop, this is kind of something that someone comes in and does, and you're like,
oh god,
don't do that.
Yeah, shocking, absolutely dreadful.
What I want is a sound that sounds like a theremin, but more annoying.
Yeah, fucking hell. But I must admit, this is probably more of the prog nonsense that I was expecting again, but just the way that the particular sound they have employed to do their prog nonsense is the worst bit about it.
I mean, I think it's clever. I read it was on one of the lyrics pages I was looking at, and it was a little bit of an interview, a little bit of a snippet with Tony Banks.
Oh god, okay.
Right, and I can't remember which song it was on, but he goes, and he said, with this one, every now and again the guys will just look at me and they'll be like, oh, I've gone too far, but I'm still trying to get these things in all the time, right? And it's like everything that's wrong with this album, I think, is Tony Banks' fault.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
I think if you take Tony Banks out of this equation, you've probably got a better record.
You fucking do.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it wouldn't lose anything because he's only playing keyboards.
Yeah.
You got Phil on drums and you got Mike on bass and lead.
Yeah.
You don't need any of these keyboards.
No.
Just take it away.
Exactly.
Fucking
wank Banks.
Absolutely. Yeah,
rubbish,
exactly.
mate.
Well, the boys were looking over at me. Were they looking at you seething and going, "You twat! You've done it again."
We're gonna have to give this cunt some money.
Fuck! Oh, this was going so good. Yeah. Oh, this is shocking.
Did you see how many copies my solo album sold? Mike, why don't you just come out with me in a solo band?
Yeah, fuck.
This is terrible. Can we just stop talking about it for a bit?
Yes, please. We're 2/3 of the way through the album, so yeah, let's just do the singles.
Singles, yeah.
Rightio. So the week of the 17th of November, number 10 in the singles charts. Fuck it. Let's play a bit of this. Dreadful shit. No, this is a cover version of a classic soul song, but I want you to tell me who's doing it, and you'll know from the voice whenever it comes in. It's an unmistakable voice.
Fucking hell. I forgot he did this.
Yeah, go on, Michael Bolton.
Jesus Christ. I mean, he has redeemed himself in later years.
Oh, he's able to look at himself and go, yeah, this is very silly, and play around that. But yeah, fuck.
I remember seeing the video of him singing this. It looked like he was turning into a werewolf.
Maybe that's what the Metallica song was about. of Wolf and Michael Bolton.
Of Bolton men. Shapeshift.
Couple of tunes here that aren't on Spotify. So I'm going to play this one. This is number 9. Remember this?
Yep. Yeah. I can't remember who it's by though.
This is Bizarre Inc. playing
Bizarre
with
Inc.,
knives.
yes, it was,
yeah. And this whole top 10, right? This is the first one we're going to see where there is a lot of this sort of dance music coming in. So end of 91.
Yeah.
There's a real shift going on. So that's number 9. Number 8 is Seal with the Killer EP.
Yeah.
So his version of Killer. Number 7, and I don't remember this at all. You were more of a fan, possibly, than I was, but I don't remember this existing.
Okay.
Without you standing by my side, love and good fortune.
Don't ring any bell at all?
Passes me by.
No.
Right. If I tell you that's Keith Washington,
Right.
because this is Kylie Minogue.
I don't remember
No,
that at all.
a song called If You Were With Me Now.
No, I don't remember that at all.
No fucking clue at all. Number 7, though.
Wow.
Yeah, no. Right, number 6. So, again, another dancey one. Bit of chart rave. Okay, if you actually remember any of the names of these acts, I'll be impressed. But you remember this song?
Yeah, hang on. Oh, fuck, what was it?
But Rhythm is a Mystery is the name of the song.
Right.
By K-Class.
K-Class, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I remember
Pretty
all
big.
of these artists, but I just don't fucking remember
Oh, you
which
can,
song was
exactly.
which.
Yeah, you put them all here. It's like a quiz question where you go, here's 20 chart rave acts, and here's 20 song titles. Try and match them up. That would be a tough business. Right, so that was number 6. Number 5, and this one isn't on Spotify either, but I fucking love this song. I bought the 7 of this when it came out, and I have since bought the 12-inch on Discogs.
Nice.
I was a big fan of this one. Does it ring any bells?
No, this one doesn't.
Oh, I love this. There's a really bad kind of rap bit that comes in a minute. When I say really bad,
is that
it's fucking brilliant.
Talking Heads?
I always thought it was a Talking Head sample. I don't know whether it is or not, but it's sort of hidden enough.
A bit of the bass sounded like Stone Roses as well, I thought.
Oh, okay. But yeah, some of it sounds like Once in a Lifetime.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, you getting this? Oh, it's going to come in with a piano bit here. And yeah, I'm going to put rap in inverted commas that comes in now, is hilariously brilliant. Classic rave rap stuff.
What's this song called?
It's called Is There Anybody Out There?
Who boy?
Bassheads. Right.
I never got there.
Nah, fair enough. I love that tune. I think that's a great little song. Still, enjoy that today. So that goes to number 5. Number 4, another one similar. Well, not similar, but
One nice one gets sorted.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, this is the top one. Nice one gets sorted. Oh, for fuck's sake, I know what this is. This is this is Everything Starts with an E by Easy Posse.
No. Definitely the right period though.
Nice one gets sorted.
One nice one gets sorted.
Oh, I know this song.
But
what is it?
they're one of the ones that are classic rave.
Yeah, it's not Altern-8.
It is Altern-8.
Oh, is it Altern-8?
It's
Okay, there you
Altern-8,
go.
mate. This is Activate.
Activate. Yes, it's Activate. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
This is fucking brilliant, this tune.
Ah, superb. So yeah, that's number 4. Number 3 is 2 Unlimited. Get ready for this.
Yeah.
Number...
Christ, he's a rave heavy top 10, man.
Isn't it?
It's insane.
Really is. Number 2 is Vic Reeves and the Wonder Stuff with Dizzy,
Yeah.
which had been number 1 a couple of weeks ago. We missed it being number 1. But there is a new number 1.
Oh, God. Oh, fuck, there's a new number 1?
There is a new... Well, mate,
Hold
like I say,
tight.
Dizzy had knocked... No, in fact, we are 2 songs after Bryan Adams. We've missed 3 weeks, yeah? And U2's The Fly knocked Bryan Adams off.
How is that? Is Acting Baby not number 1?
No, number 2.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, number 2.
We're not going to talk about Acting Baby.
Well, it's going to be in the top 10, so we'll come across it in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, so we had The Fly was number 1 after Bryan Adams, then Vic Reeves with Dizzy. But then, this
I've been
week...
looking forward to talking about Acting Baby for ages.
Gutted.
I really thought we were going to...
Oh, so sorry, Dave.
It's the fucking best U2 album.
Oh, it's easily the best. Yeah.
Great album. Oh, come on.
There you go. This is the new number 1 this week.
Doesn't matter if you're black or white.
It doesn't. Just as long as you're 10 years old. But a Michael Jackson there.
Took my baby on a Saturday bang. He's talking about banging a baby.
Oh, dear.
In an album called Bad, and an album called Dangerous. Literally, if he'd have had an album called Sex Offender, people still wouldn't have believed it. Monster. Beast. Nonce.
Oh, no, man, it's just artistic license. Oh, look, mate, keep all this for the Jackson episode. Okay, actually, we just talked about it. So, The Fly by U2. So, like I say, it was the first single off Acting Baby, and it went straight in at 1, knocked Bryan Adams off. And I bought the 12-inch of this when it came out.
This is a
Great
fucking
tune.
brilliant tune.
Yeah. And this
Guitar sounds so cool.
But this was also so totally different to previous U2. Because I was only really aware of the mid-80s U2 stuff.
Yeah.
So whenever this came out, I was expecting more of that.
Yeah.
And this was crazy to hear.
Did you ever see them live?
No.
Saw them on this tour, man.
Oh, shit, yeah?
Well, yeah. I saw them. They kind of released a second album. They did the Zoo TV tour,
Yes. It was straight after.
which was all of Acting Baby.
Yeah.
And then they released an album called Zooropa.
I remember that, yeah.
Whilst they recorded whilst they were on the road, and then they did another set of legs, which is ostensibly the same thing.
Oh, I see, okay.
Same set.
Just an
and stuff.
extension of
And
that.
I saw them on that, and it was one of the best gigs I think I've still ever been
Wow.
to. Yeah, it was fucking remarkable.
Was that when they had all the big TVs and stuff? It was
Yeah.
the huge screens everywhere, yeah.
And I mean, I love Acting Baby, and you know what, man? I cunt that Bono may be, right? I
Yep.
give a shit. They've got a back catalogue of some fucking tunes.
They absolutely do. I mean, I can't say that I've listened to anything album-wise that they've released since 2000. I just have not done it.
I haven't. I'm not interested.
No,
in that,
don't
really.
care.
And I'm sure, again, I'm sure there's, some gold in there.
Maybe.
But I mean, they've had some decent, solid singles.
Of course,
I mean, I can't take some of them seriously because I have to get that South Park thing in my head with Bono just going, yeah,
yeah, true. I think whenever they released the Sweetest Thing single, I hated it so much.
Oh yeah,
that I couldn't bear listening to anything post that, just in case it was as bad.
I know what you're saying.
I fucking hated that.
But now you've said that, I've got it in my fucking head because whatever you say about it, it's catchy as shit. It's catchy as AIDS.
Yeah. Other singles released: The Justified Ancients of Moo Moo released It's Grim Up North, which is obviously a KLF alter ego one. Skid Row released Wasted Time. Don't remember that song at all. Got to number 20 in the charts.
It's on Slave to the Grind, yeah. I remember
Is it?
that,
Yeah. Poison released So Tell Me Why. Got to number 25.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that one at all. This one got to number 10. I think this was actually a re-release of about 6 months after initial release. But it got to number 10 at this point, which was the highest it charted. And this was the first time I'd ever heard Moby.
Yeah.
You know, it was his big breakthrough.
Go.
The Manic Street Preachers released Love's Sweet Exile. We've talked about them enough before. 9 Inch Nails released Sin. Got to number 35.
What a tune that is.
Yeah, number 35 in that one. Here's some crackers to finish off, right? This only got to number 60.
1990 motherfucking one.
NWA back in this motherfucker.
Commercialised ass.
Cracking tune. Yeah. NWA always into something.
And again, like, I mean,
Let the beat flow.
we've had this discussion many times in pubs, and we'll have it again for the podcast.
Yeah, for the hip hop one.
Right. Okay, well, maybe we'll save it a little bit for that. But look, fucking always into something. This is the G-Funk sound that I profess not to like for Dre.
I know.
I don't get it.
I know. I can't defend it because you're right.
Yeah, fair enough. Love that track, though. It's
That's
such a good track.
terrific song.
Apart from the reggae break that's on it.
Mate, I'd give them the reggae break on that. What's he called? MC what?
What's his? Fucking hell! What is his name?
Is it the cap? No, he's not the captain.
The Admiral. The Admiral.
All right, this one got to number 51, and this is fucking brilliant. I mean, this whole album, I fucking love.
Excuse me, but can I be
Yeah.
for a while?
Yeah, number 51 was the single. Tori Amos, Silent All These Years. And this is beautiful. Friend of the podcast, Niall Bakewell. He was the first person to introduce me to this album, to Little Earthquakes. Taped it for me one summer. I was staying up at his. Fucking amazing.
This album's incredible.
It's just astonishing.
I love Drams. Yeah, I tell you, man, what I wouldn't have given to, was it Madison Square Garden where she did that version of Mohammed, My Friend, and Maynard came
with
out
Maynard,
some of
yeah.
that, like, the fact that that's only available as that live version.
Ropey, YouTube.
I just fucking wish there was a studio version of that. It's magnificent.
Yeah. The last one I've got on this little 3-week spree we're on, though, number 73 this only got to, and that surprised me, I'll be honest.
Yes, indeed.
I thought this was a
OPP,
bigger
man.
hit.
That was a bigger hit in the States.
Well, it must have
in
been.
the States.
Because I bought the 12-inch of this at the time, but I had to get an American import of it.
Yeah.
Because I think I probably got it a few weeks after release or something, I guess.
I mean-
and they just didn't have the 12-inch of it.
Mate,
The UK 12.
Like, hip-hop wasn't doing anything in the UK, really. Not from, like... There was stuff that was hip-hop-esque that was doing business, but hip-hop per se, you know, it wasn't selling. Not bothering the charts anyway.
No, like you say, stuff like Vanilla Ice and Hammer, of course.
It's like, where did Always Into Something get in the charts?
That was number 60.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the first single back from one of the biggest groups in hip-hop.
Yeah.
It's just not where... If you weren't Public Enemy, you weren't doing anything.
Right, yes, true. We've seen Public Enemy, and I think we saw, what do you call Can I Kick It? I think Can I Kick It was 20s. Because it was more of a pop crossover hit.
I can't remember that being top 10.
Oh, maybe it was.
I think
But
that
it
was
higher
top 10.
end anyway. But because it was a big pop crossover hit, that sort of shit. And then we've got PM Dawn and Dream Warriors and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but again, it's that kind of stuff that's kind of diluted enough to have a pop sensibility.
Yeah.
Like what I would, being the purist dickhead that I am, real hip hop, KRS-One, Boogie Down Productions, they're massive at this point. They're not hitting the charts.
Not at all.
This stuff exists purely in the underground. You remember how hard you had to look for this stuff?
Sure.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, of
difficult,
course.
man.
No, it was. Okay, well, there you go. That's your single. So there's some good stuff in there. I mean, like I say, I think it's interesting to see that top 10 because you really see the rave stuff coming through.
Wow.
Obviously,
man,
we've seen Prodigy and we've seen Oceanic and that stuff in this year, but for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 to be rave songs.
Yeah, well, this is the point where that music is kind of coming out of underground and being this is what's you're starting to hear this stuff in towny clubs.
Oh, you are
you?
absolutely. I mean, I remember fucking the school disco kind of things that I was going to. This is what was being played.
Yeah, and the news is covered with this song's got a drugs reference in it. The tabloid outrage and all that stuff.
Huge, yeah. Exactly.
And as soon as you start getting that, it starts getting bigger and bigger.
Okay, well, there's your singles.
Okay,
Final leg of Genesis.
indeed. Genesis chapter
3. All right, so track number 9 is Hold on My Heart. Well, listen to this insipid cack.
It's just so dull, isn't it?
Yeah. This was the third single.
This was a single.
Third single.
Wow. Look, this formula of basically what you got is it's a slow Phil Collins vocal. There's the odd bit of kind of Floydy power chord, and then just too much synth. I mean, just nothing from this at all.
No. This drains the life out of me. This
is everything that's wrong with music. One of my favourite expressions.
Yeah. No, I by this point, this is my least favourite song so far because it's so dull. And I was going, oh God, I hope this album's.
I mean, I would describe that song as aggressively white.
It's the Phil Anselmo of Genesis.
I mean, it
songs.
really is. It's so white that it's kind of bleaching out. I mean, there are records next to it in the charts that are becoming mixed race.
Getting paler.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Yeah, there's nothing good about this whatsoever.
No, let's move on from it.
Got to number 16 in the charts.
Well,
what?
There's people are twats.
They really are. All right, yeah, number 10.
Way of the World. Okay, so this one's a bit more upbeat.
Yes, yeah, indeed. Okay. So a bit of life at least in it.
A bit of spacey, almost.
Now you've said Huey Lewis in the News, that riff sounds like them to me. This sounds like a Huey Lewis song tonight. And I don't quite get what this is about. Like, is it the fight between right and wrong in the world, or is it how humans are fucking up the earth and nature? I'm not sure what it's about.
I haven't made any lyrical notes.
I must admit, I don't care either way because I'm past that.
So yeah, I mean, there's bits of Phil stuff that I like here. Some of the guitar's okay as well.
Sure.
I'm enjoying this song.
Oh, okay.
Up to this point,
yeah.
Right? And then we get to. I mean, I've no doubt that you've got the same note I have, right? We just get to this enormous keyboard solo that kind of vaguely sounds like our old friend the saxophone solo.
but if we're talking about friends, I would invite the sax solo guy round to all my parties.
Yeah.
I would not tell the keyboard solo that this party was happening.
No, absolutely not. I would go as far. No, I would straight up tell him he's not invited.
Oh, really? Just out and out. No, mate, it's not for you.
Nah, sorry, mate. No, I mean, your mate can come. Your girl can come.
Tell sax solo, no problem.
Yeah, but no. I mean,
let's play a bit of it. This is the worst thing I've ever heard.
What you can't see is the look of absolute fucking just impotent frustration on Krister's face. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen you like this like kind of just nonplussed by anything.
I can't understand it. I can't fathom why. They're like, no, mate, just fucking run with this, Tony.
Yeah. I mean, I have written here, I feel like all of this album's problems lie squarely at Tony Banks' feet.
I really do. He's got a lot to answer for.
That wouldn't have been a bad song if they'd not had that in it.
It wouldn't have been bad, but I get 0 from this song at all.
I mean, I've got asterisks by by the ones that I like.
Okay.
And I've got an asterisk by that one.
Do you? Oh, I got nothing.
But only because there's some bits in it.
And then crossed out from keyboards. Sort of.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Tip-X, that fucker.
Right, track number 11, Since I Lost You, which is the riposte to Since I Found You by the Avalanches.
Yes. You shouldn't laugh about this one, really. This is quite a very serious and sad subject.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, look, the thing is, right, this is another massive keyboard ballad, right?
Yeah.
And if you read the lyrics, it seems like it's about a death.
Well, yes.
Someone that's died. But look, we're talking about Phil Collins. It's probably just an ex-wife.
It's Eric Clapton's 4-year-old son. Yeah, it's one of our...
Is that what that is?
It is, yeah. Yeah. Because whenever I read the lyrics and just listened to it, I thought it could be interpreted as just the end of a relationship and people drifting apart, and I've lost you out of this. But then, I read into it, and he wrote it for Clapton after his son Connor died.
I feel like a cunt now.
Yeah, and so it is about... It's actually someone not being there anymore at all, as opposed to just not being in your life anymore.
But look, I mean, what I will say... I mean, I don't like this song.
Oh, it's awful.
What it has got, it's got some nice kind of like 60s BVs and the layering on that.
I thought a wee bit sort of Phil Spector sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a bit when we talked about But Seriously. If you want to go back and listen to that episode, it's the first episode we ever did. Obviously, that was a record that paid homage to a lot of his... kind of 60s.
Yes, very much over the top.
Yeah, he's
soul influences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of stuff that he was really in, and you can really see that on this song, and that you can see all the influences of it. I just don't think it works very well as a song.
Again, this is one where I don't think there's any real tune to it.
No,
I can like you say, I can see the influences, and I can see maybe what he's going for.
Yeah,
but he's forgotten to write a song.
Yeah, it's got some nice bits and nice touches in it, and obviously I don't mean to fucking mock a sentiment on something like that, but I mean I'm past caring on this song.
Oh no, totally. And while it is obviously a lovely sentiment and it's written from the heart, all that shit, it's dull.
Yeah.
It makes me go, fucking next track.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to this anymore. Whereas it should be making me go, oh fuck, that is a tragedy, and I'm very sad now. And I'm just going, this song's terrible.
Okay, well with that in mind, let's move on to the next track.
Which is the last track?
Called Fading Lights, much like the lights of our interest in this record, it would appear.
I know, we did start a lot more into this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right, so this is the last song, and it's the longest song on the album.
Yes.
At 10.5 minutes.
So we're starting off with another kind of big sci-fi kind of synth. It's like, it's another slow one.
Yeah. I mean, there are some shit keyboards in this again.
Oh yeah, but look, I mean, and this is where I'm at. Yeah, I'm at a point where I'm like, this is just shit. Oh well, fucking 10 minutes of this, I've got to listen to all of this.
Yeah.
But.
Yep. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm glad you said that, because I was going to have to go. Well.
But then 3 minutes 38 happens.
3 minutes 38 is the exact note I've got. Right. Let's get to this bit. Right. This is a song about looking back at your life and seeing what you could have done differently, what could have changed. And the first, with 3.5 minutes, is just this wishy-washy nonsense.
And I think that's ironic, looking back at what you've done and seeing what you could have done differently, because that plays very much into a note I've got about this.
Okay,
right. Which is, because it's let's hear what it does.
Right.
See, what you get now between 3 minutes 38 and 8 minutes 13 is just full mental fucking instrumental prog madness.
Yeah, no, this goes off on it, doesn't it?
And it's glorious.
It is great, yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't you just do this?
Yeah, fair enough. I don't like that keyboard sound, but I'm letting it pass.
Yeah.
Because for this, where it's just going a bit crazy, fine. Okay.
There goes balls out nuts, right?
Here we are.
Here we go.
What's going on here? Yeah. And this is another setting that I didn't know existed on a keyboard.
And in a few years' time, DJ Shadow will sample this and it'll be a masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
And look, this is wonderful. I'm glad that this exists. This kind of 5 minutes well, not quite 5 minutes,
Yeah.
because it then goes back to the dull bit
At the end,
and
does,
it peters
yes.
out for 2 minutes, right? But for 4.5 glorious minutes, this shit's happening.
Yeah.
And it's nuts and it's ridiculous and it's overblown and it's stupid.
And it's what I expected from a Genesis album.
I would have been more than happy if we had more of that, right?
Yes, yeah.
But, that whole thing of, like, they're going, look back and it's like, well, you just recorded the whole album. Why didn't you just do this?
Right.
Why didn't you do this more?
Looking back over those 9 tracks. Yeah.
So, look, I think for me, too little too late.
Yes, and like you say, it's bookended by 3 minutes of cack and 2 minutes of cack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still not a great song, but
No.
it is glorious.
Oh,
when
it's
it
one of my
goes
favourite
nuts.
bits of the record,
Yeah.
that little bit there, yeah.
So, as an album,
Mm-hmm.
this is just bloat, isn't it?
Yes.
For the most
It
part.
absolutely is. And I did see something written that they had initially, because there were 2 songs they wrote for the album and they didn't release. They eventually were B-sides. Because they were going to do it as a double album, but then they realised that most people were going to be listening to this on CD at this point.
Right.
So they went, well, how much can we fit in a CD? Let's fill a CD. So there was no editing going on is this good or is this bad? They went, we can fit 73 minutes. Let's make 73 minutes of music. Which is a mistake. It's an absolute mistake.
Without a doubt. It's much, much too long. And, there are things on here that just aren't songs.
No, totally. And surely a producer listening back would go, boys, if we took this one off, because this is, boring crap, and if you took this one off, there's a 10-track, 60-minute album, much tighter, much better. You'll be remembered better. For
I don't think
having
there's a
this.
10-track 60. I don't think...
No. I think this should be an 8-track, probably. Yeah, 8-track. I can see the worth of some of the other ones. I think there are 2 or 3 that just should be never heard of again.
I agree. Look, it brings us to that time where we need to choose a track.
Oh, to put onto our playlist.
And basically what we do is every album we listen to, every one of these number 1 albums that we listen to from the 90s, we pick at least 1 song up to a maximum of 3 songs that we think represent the album, and that goes into a playlist. In fact, we should do one for the Enya as well.
Yeah, we should, because it was a number 1 album by an original artist.
Okay, well, I'm going with the single.
Yeah.
So it's the title single?
No,
what's
Caribbean
it called?
Blue.
Oh, Caribbean Blue, that's what it's called.
It's the only one I really remember. It's
Yeah.
kind of catchy. It's perfectly fine.
And it's the colour I've painted my shed.
Caribbean Blue.
Probably.
Lovely. Okay, so that's that done. And so Genesis.
Okay, so we've got, first of all, I'm saying there's not 3 songs I'm picking.
No, I was going to suggest 1.
It's going to be Jesus He Knows Me.
Yeah.
Jesus He Knows Me, yeah?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. I think that is a great, fun pop song. It's really not representative of this album.
No.
But it's the best thing on here for
If
me.
you had to go for a second, what would it be?
Possibly No Son of Mine, because I did like the chorus on
I
that.
don't like it at all.
I like
well,
the chorus.
no, I don't dislike. I like the chorus.
Yeah.
I both don't like the song. I think if I was having to pick a second one,
Yeah.
I would be arguing for Fading Lights.
Oh, I see. Okay, just because, fuck it.
Yeah.
10 minutes of that, yeah.
But let's not do it to ourselves.
No, if there was an edit of it, no, fuck it. We're not going to put it on the playlist, but do go and have a listen.
Go listen, yeah.
Listen to the middle section of
Yeah.
that song, yeah, sure.
And guys, if you're diehard Genesis fans, get in contact. Tell us why we're arseholes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, guys. As always, if you're listening to this in real time as we're releasing, we're actually going to be taking a 2-week break now for Christmas and New Year.
Indeed.
We'll
Lots
be
of stuff
back.
going
We'll
on.
be back in January 2020. That seems nuts,
Fuck
doesn't
It's
it?
the future.
What the fuck is
yeah.
going on there, man? Where
Yes.
I will be old and you'll nearly be old.
Yeah, it's true enough.
Mate.
Yeah, so the very last few of season 2 are going to come out at the start of 2020.
Exactly. So the last number 1 album of 1991 will be the first one we release next year.
Yes.
And what is that, Krister?
That's going to be Michael Jackson. Dangerous.
Yes, he was.
Yes, exactly.
As always, thank you very much, and we will see you next time.
All right, goodbye. Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We're on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and Facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is pclpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on pclmusicpodcast@gmail.com.